So, guys, Paleo here, or you could call me Anthony. And today, I'm doing something new. Well, it's not new. Niggas been reading for years. Yeah. I got this book about black people, and I'm gonna attempt to read it. Okay. Now, the last book I read was. I don't have a drum roll sound. Need to add that. Drum roll. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. That was the last official book a nigga read. Okay. So as you could tell by the title or whatnot, I'm trying to get literate again. I'm trying to get literate because I realized through the years, I'm like a little bit more on the slow side. I'm more on the slow side than I used to be because years of like partying, turning up with the bros, four locos. I'm capping. I smoke dope. That's about it. But yeah man. So we're gonna read the back so y'all can know what the book is about, okay? Because before you buy a book, you're supposed to read what the fuck the book is about. I did not buy this book. My girlfriend actually got me this book. Well, no, she had it, and it was like, oh, you should read it when we first got together, which was like what, November? And I was like, yeah, I'll definitely read it, knowing damn well I was probably never gonna read that. But something clicked in my brain. Was like, nigga, you gotta learn how to read, bruh. Because I don't know if the two people who are in here were in the last stream, but I am on academic probation, which means I can't register for new classes. Ain't that some shit, bruh? Ain't that some shit? Whoever the two niggas in here are, I hope y'all are doing well. But look, this book, okay, the beginning part right here, that should say social science. We don't talk about race in America, but we must start if we are going to heal this broken country. And Beverly Daniel Tatum's book is exactly the conversation opener we should be using. Oh yeah, shout out Beverly Daniel Tatum, bruh. He ain't Jason Tatum. He ain't shooting threes for the Boston Celtics. But I guess he writing some good literature. Right? Is that who wrote the book? Yeah. This nigga got a PhD, so this shit better be some fucking shit. See, that's another thing y'all notice. I got bad vocabulary, bro. The vocabulary shot. My vernacular is shot, bro. Shot. Okay, look, it says walk into any racially mixed high school and you will see black, white, and Latinx youth clustered in their own groups. Is this self segregation a problem to address or a coping strategy we should support? How can we get past our reluctance to discuss racial issues? Beverly Daniel Tatum, a renowned authority on the psychology of racism, argues that straight talk about our racial identities is essential if we are serious about enabling communication across the racial and ethnic divides. These topics have only become more urgent as the national conversation about race is increasingly acrimonious. What the fuck is that word? See, we already getting stumped. Ac- acrimonious, acrimonious, nonius, acrimonious. Right, we're gonna go with the crimnonius. We're gonna go with a crimnonius. Hey, whoever left, fuck you, suck my dick. You're never gonna get educated, bruh. How do you say it?
Acrimonious.
Acrimonious? Acrimonious. See, I said it different because, I'm from down south and we got an accent. I actually know how to read. It's just sometimes my accent be fucking up the pronunciation of these words, bro. I swear to God, I actually know how to read, okay? Just don't call on me in no popcorn reading shit. I'm glad they don't do that shit in college, bro. Okay, but it means Usually a formal context, speech, or behavior that is angry, bitter, and filled with sharp, stinging accusations or hostility.
Acrimonious.
Acrimonious. A lot of you niggas are acrimonious when you say I'm barely black and that I am whitewashed. That's not acrimonious. That's like really just ignorant, I think. That's just, why y'all say that about me? And if we're gonna bring stereotypes into it, I can't read. So am I really barely black? Come on now. Okay. Acrimonious. Where are we at? Where is the sentence ending off? I don't care. These topics have only become more urgent as the national conversation about race is increasingly acrimonious. This fully revised and updated edition is essential reading for anyone seeking to understand the dynamics of race in America. You heard me? You heard me? You heard me? All right, let's get into the first page of this motherfucking book. Okay. Do I gotta read the pre? No, we're not reading this. You see the page? Okay. Why are all the black kids sitting together in the cafeteria and another conversations about race? Okay. We heating up. We heating up. Okay. The prologue. Why are all the black kids still sitting together in the cafeteria and other conversations about race in the 21st century? When I told people that I was working on a 20th anniversary edition of my 1997 book, Why Are All the Black Kids Sitting Together in the Cafeteria, and other conversations about race, the typical response came in the form of a question, or sometimes two. Is this still happening? Are things getting better? A quick glance across the cafeteria in the average racially mixed U.S. high school or college will tell you that the answer to the first question is usually yes. What, if anything, does that tell us about the answer to the second question? Are things getting better? What does better look like? That is a more complicated question. What has changed for better or worse in the last 20 years? What is the implication for how we understand ourselves and each other in reference to our racial identities? And if we are dissatisfied with the way things are, what can we do to change it? I wrote the first version of this book in 1996, in the closing years of the 20th century. Now, almost 2 decades into the 21st, it seems we are still struggling with what WEBD bios identified. Where the fuck does that acronym come from? I don't know where that acronym comes from. In 1906, as the problem of the color line, even though the demographic composition of that color line has changed quite a bit than in his province. Hold on, we got to do the Kaisenat method. We got to do the Kaisenat method here. Okay, so this is actually where it starts. Because the prologue is different from a chapter, right? What is not a chapter book? This is like a psychologically book. Yeah. That was a good answer, bro. All right. Set timer for 2 hours. All right. Steve Phillips highlights the speed with which in. All right, bro. Nigga tried to speed reading, and it is not for him. No, actually, to really understand what's going on, we gotta stand up for this, okay? Steve Phillip highlights the speed with which the American population is shifting. He writes, each day the size of the US population increases by more than 8,000 people, and nearly 90% of that growth consists of people of color, emphasis in original. A consequence of differential rates of birth, deaths, and patterns of immigration. The numbers are pretty remarkable when you consider that in 1950, the total US population was nearly 90% white. In 1950, in 1950, the population was 90% white in America. Okay, cool. I think we knew that already. But for you, those of you who didn't, there you go. But many members of that 1950s population are now elderly. And as the older white population is passing away, the white birth rate is not sufficient to replace them at the same population percentage. Add to this the fact of immigration. The majority of people immigrating legally to the US are people of color, coming from places like Asia, Africa, and Latin America, reflecting the fact that the majority of the world's population is of color. When immigration numbers are added to the new increase from births, net increase, not new. The bottom line is that each and every day, 7,261 people of color are added to the US population, in contrast to the white growth of 1,053. People indeed, people indeed. Oh, okay, that I don't know why that threw me off. That was formatted weird. The 2014 school year marked the first time in U.S. history that majority of elementary and secondary school children were children of color, Black, Latinx, Asian, or American Indian. All right, that closed off the prologue. The prologue's done. Now we on new faces, same places. Hey, this nigga got a PhD. He could have went platinum with these bars. Okay, though much of what has historically been written about race relations in the United States describes that the traditional black white racial binary, a function of legacy of slavery, the African American struggle for civil rights, and the fact that in the 20th century, blacks represented the largest minority group. It is important to note that in the 21st century, people of Latin American descent, referred to by the U.S. Census Bureau as Hispanics, are the largest population of color in the nation. According to the Census Bureau, while black compose 13% of the US population, Hispanics are now 17.6%, growing faster than the Hispanic population in the Asian American community. Less than 1% of the population in 1965. By 2011, the Asian population had grown to approximately 6% of the US population, and now the fastest growing racial group in the country within the broad umbrella category of Asian Americans. Shout out to my girlfriend. Of Asian Americans, the six largest groups by country. The origin are Chinese Americans, Filipino Americans, Indian Americans, Vietnamese Americans, Korean Americans, and Japanese Americans, together representing 83% of the total Asian population in the US. What? Okay, fuck it. They all come together to make 83% of the Asian population. All the Asians are Asian. Oh my god, what? I didn't know that. What? I didn't know that. While Muslims cannot be accurately defined in terms of one racial or ethnic group because Muslims come from many countries of origin and not just the Middle East. It seems fitting to include current. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, actually, let's talk about that. There's no one here to really talk about it, but if you didn't know this, because apparently there's a lot of people who don't know this, Muslims are not a race. Okay? Just just so you know. Just so you know. And if you didn't know, you need to read more of these. Okay? More of these about real shit, not Star Wars, not fucking Star Trek, not fucking Stargaze 3000. Real shit. Y'all need to read real shit by niggas with PhDs. Okay? Alright, we gotta do a phone check, bro. I've been reading for too long. This shit not even working out. This shit not working out. 1 to 2 blunts a day good enough for me. Okay, back to the reading grind. Oh, actually, let me take a sip of Coke Zero. My brain's been working hard. Oh, that bitch tickle your throat. Ooh, Okay, Muslims cannot be accurately defined in terms of one racial or ethnic group because Muslims come from many countries of origin and not just the Middle East. It seems fitting to include current statistics about the Muslim population because some of the dynamics we see regarding racial differences or racial difference during the last 2 decades apply here as well. Certainly since the September 11, we can never forget 9/11, but we will forget Donald Trump is a rapist and has like 300 felonies. Okay, it's more in the 200 something ballpark, but it doesn't matter. We can forget that though. But 9/11, no, 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 no. Let's not forget 9/11. Oh, those damn Muslims. Terrorist attacks. There has been an increase in anti Muslim sentiment in the US that should not be ignored. The Pew Research Center estimates that there were approximately 3.3 million Muslims of all ages living in the United States in 2015. Them niggas are about to experience the next, or jokes over. Shout out summer 2016. Um, where am I? Representing about 1% of the total US population. The Muslim population is exceeded to double by 2050. Half of that projected growth, the result of immigration. Also of note is the growth in the populations described as multiracial in the year 2000. The United States Census Bureau began allowing people to choose more than one racial category to describe themselves since then. The nation's multiracial population has grown significantly. The number of white and black biracial Americans more than doubled, while the population of adults with a white and Asian background increased by 87%. According to a report of the Pew Research Center, multiracial Americans are at the cutting edge of social and demographic change in the US. Young, proud, tolerant, okay, and growing at rate 3 times as fast as the population as a whole. Indeed, the percentage of multiracial babies has risen from 1% in 1970 to 10% in 2013. Clearly, our national diversity is growing rapidly, yet old patterns of segregation persist, most notably in schools and neighborhoods. More than 60 years after the Brown versus Board of Education Supreme Court decision in every region of the country except the West, our public schools are more segregated today than they were in 1980. Okay, speaking of segregated schools, to those of you who didn't know this, the last desegregated school ended in 2016 in Mississippi. Okay? Shit ain't that old, nigga. Shit ain't that old. Okay? For niggas who like to say outlandish shit and be like, oh, it was so long ago. Motherfucker. The last desegregated school shut down in 2016, allegedly. Why did I just sound like a. Can't say that. Can't say that. Damn, bro, they keep blowing my phone up. Niggas don't want me to read, bro. Niggas dead ass, they don't want me to read, bro. What is this? I hate niggas. See, this is an accurate representation of niggas, bro. This my this my brother though. This my brother though. Zach, I love you. I love you. But you need to read a goddamn book, nigga. No, I gotta redo that. I gotta redo that. Zach, I love you. You need to put the gun down and pick up a book. All right, back. Yeah. Yeah, okay. We talked about. All right, next page. We're on to the next page. We're on to the next page, bro. Next fucking page. Are 90 to 100% non white with the highest rates of school segregation in the Northeast. Northeast. This is New York, nigga. I mean, they got all those niggas in New York. Yeah, that makes sense. With the highest rates of school segregation in the Northeast, though the South made rapid progress towards school desegregation in the late 1960s and 1970s, typically in response to court orders and other federal pressure. The Northeast did not budge much, and patterns of de facto segregation. What the fuck is de facto segregation? Y'all ever heard of de facto segregation? All right, we gotta do a quick internet search because what the fuck is de facto? Why do I keep opening a new Google tab every time I. De facto segregation. De facto segregation is the racial separation that exists in reality rather than being mandated by law. Ah! De June. It stems from private action. So de June is just like, or de facto. They just do it in real time and they don't wait for the law, basically. Yeah, racial separation that exists in reality rather than being mandated by law. So de facto segregation is like, yo, there's no law saying that white and blacks are separate, but since me as a white man, I don't want you around me, I'm just gonna say you can't be around me. But there's no law for it. That's de facto segregation, if you catch my drift. Even though there's no one gonna be here to catch my drift. Maybe this will blow up on the VOD channel. I don't know. I don't know. The VOD channel just doesn't exist yet. But like, it was if you seen this, nigga, then it exists. Hold on, I got Cobra Kai pants on. Wait, how does that nigga do the crank kick and slide? Nice. Oh fuck, I need to stretch. Oh, I need to. Oh, damn, nigga, I can't read. I can't stretch. What the fuck can I do? I could lay some dick down, nigga. All right, serious shit right here. Serious fucking shit right here, bro. Serious. Of de facto segregation in the Northeast continue to rise slowly but steadily. Bro. Okay, attention span. Lock in. Lock in, bro. How much time do I got left? Hold on. Hold on. Zach just said something, bro. What the fuck do I need to pick up a book for? What the fuck do I need to pick up a book for? No, no, no. He wasn't supposed to get offended. What the fuck do I need to pick up a book for? Bruh. So you can be an educated black man. So you can be an educated black man. You know that nigga Puerto Rican. His daddy a little black. His daddy a little black. His daddy a little black. Okay, actually, let me lock in. De facto segregation in the Northeast continue to rise slowly but steadily, such that today more than 50% of black students in the November Northeast, nigga talking about some November, attend schools that are classified as 90 to 100% non-white nationwide. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of niggas in New York. So many niggas in New York. That's not a crazy stat. 75% of black students today attend so called majority minority schools. That's whatever. They cancel each other out. Schools and 38% attend schools with student bodies that are 10% or less white. Similarity simulate large numbers of Latinx students. Approximately 80% attend schools where students of color are the majority, and more than 40% attend schools where the white population is less than 10% of the student body. Both Black and Latinx students are much more likely than white students to attend a school where 60% or more of their classmates are living in poverty, as measured by the percentage of students eligible for free food, reduced price lunch programs. Separate remains unequal as schools with the concentrated poverty and racial segregation are still likely to have less experienced teachers, high levels of student teacher turnover, inadequate facilities, and fewer classroom resources. As a series of key Supreme Court decisions, the 3 decades between 1974 and 2007 dramatically reduced the numbers of implementations methods available to communities engaged in desegregation by eliminating strategies such as cross district busing, dismantling mantling local court supervisions of desegregation plans, okay, and limiting the use of race based admissions to ensure diversity in magnet school programs as the base administration to ensure diversity in magnet school programs, as these options for desegregation have been curtailed. Curtailed. You know what the fuck to do, curtailed, bro. That ain't no real fucking world. World. Curtailed means to shorten, reduce, or place restrictions on something, ending it earlier than planned.
Curtailed.
Why the fuck are we switching accents between the niggas who tell me what the fuck the word sounds like? The pronunciation niggas, bruh. Why are we. We don't need to do that. We don't need to do that.
You right. My bad. You right. My bad.
Think about it, bro. The white man wants you to have that gun. They want you to feel like you need to use that gun so you can end up in jail, bro. You gotta rise above the fucking matrix, nigga. You gotta rise above that shit. I love you, bro. Think about it, bro. The white man wants you to have that gun. They want you to feel like you need to use that gun so you can end up in jail, bro. You gotta rise above the fucking matrix, nigga. You gotta rise above that shit. I love you, bro. Think about it, bro. The white man wants you to have that gun. You need to use that gun so you can end up in jail, bro. You gotta rise above the fucking matrix, nigga. You gotta rise above that shit. Bro, I think I should become a preacher, bro. I'm good at this. I'm dead ass. I'm so good at this. It's not even like no bullshit. I'm the best to ever exist at this shit, bro. Best to ever exist at this shit. Okay, where was I in my book? A series of key Supreme Court decisions during the 3 decades between 1974 and 2007 dramatically reduced the number of implementations methods available to communities engaged in school desegregation by eliminating strategies such as the cross district busing, dismantling local court supervision of desegregation plans, and limiting use of race based administrations to ensure diversity in magnet school programs. As these operations for desegregation have been curtailed by court rulings, the number of intensity segregated schools with 0 to 10% white enrollment has more than tripled. Students are once again predominantly assigned to schools based on where they live. And to the extent that neighborhoods are segregated, the schools remain so. When we talk about residential segregation, we inevitably find that we are talking about not only race but also class. Certainly, income matters when you are looking for housing, but we can't overlook the way housing patterns have shaped historically by race based politics and practices such as racially restrictive real estate convenience, convenience. You feel me? Racial steering by real estate agents, redlining, and other discriminatory practices by mortgage leaders that historically include the use by many white homeowners associations of physical threats and violence to keep unwanted people of color out of their neighborhoods. In her 2014 book, Reproducing Racism: How Everyday Choices Look in White Advantage, legal scholar Daria, isn't that like Lacey's bitch? Lacey's girl. I let me drink some Coke Zero. I need to wash my mouth out. One scales, couple L's, came in this bitch by myself. Off. Why you fuckers, girl? Shit, cause I'm a player. Called up back no NFL. Dripping in the. If y'all don't know, y'all don't know where are we at. R.I.P. Young Dolph though for sure. Legal scholar Daria Rothenmeier sucking suck. Like I don't use these words in my day-to-day speak, bruh. And that's gonna make some bitches pop their balloons. Sucking itly reminds us of that exclusionary history describing practices that originated in Chicago in the first quarter of the 20th century. She details how regional practices became national law and federal policy in a crucial historical moment that would pave the way for the rest of the country. The Chicago Real Estate Board put into place an ethics code provision that prohibited brokers from selling to buyers who threatened to disrupt the racial composition of the neighborhood. The move was so effective that the National Association of Real Estate Boards adopted an identical provision. Now, brokers would have to risk their careers to sell across racial lines. State commissions were authorized by state law to revoke the state licenses of those brokers who violated this provision. So, even the niggas that wanted to not be racist would risk their job for not being racist. And niggas still think anyway. Oh fuck, I don't want to read this no more, bro. I'm gonna get mad. This shit gonna piss me off. Cause it doesn't take a genius to figure out racism in America is still a thing, right? I don't need to read this. Other people do apparently need to read this to know that shit's fucked. And something needs to change. Something needs to change. But who am I to change it? I don't even know how to read. NARAB, which is that brokers association. Yeah, NARAB. NAREB not only adopted the ethics code provision, but also copied the Chicago use of racially restrictive convent. Okay, actually, I tried to guess that word the first time. I don't fucking know that word, bro. Covenant. I do know that word. Covenant. Nigga, what? Duh. Niggas so used to using AI. Covenant, bro. Fucking covenant. Covenants, bro. A legal instrument that served to prevent individual white homeowners from selling or leasing their property to black residents and spread the practice nationwide for nearly 3 decades. These practices were not only legal, but undergirded by federal policy. These policies of the Federal Housing Authority, FHA, Federal Housing Authority, FHA, the Department of Veteran Affairs, the VA. Hey, shout out to the VA. Y'all niggas pay me every month because my daddy was in Iraq shooting little niggas. Shooting little niggas. My daddy was in the field for real, nigga. Fuck, 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 nigga. And the Federal Homeowners Loan Corporation, HOLC. All coverage to the establishment redlining as a national practice. The most important factor encouraging white Sarbansia. Alright, nigga, suburbs. Nigga, suburban Asia nation. Suburbasia nation. Nigga, just say fucking. See, now they being extra with this word and shit, bro. This is just extra, bro. And reinforcing the segregation of blacks was the FOHA requirement for an unbiased professional appraisal of issued properties, which naturally included a rating of the neighborhood. Using a coding system originally created, the Hulk black neighborhoods received. What did they receive? Let's turn the page and we shall see. Okay, we're gonna go back to sitting down, I think. Cause I ain't getting no viewers. Why am I not getting viewers? What the heck? Alright, we're gonna go back to sitting down. Cause maybe it's the Cobra Kai pants. It's the Cobra Kai pants that's throwing them off, right? It's the Cobra Kai pants that's throwing them off. Niggas send crying emojis because they can't understand what a nigga is putting down. They can't understand me. They'll never understand me, bruh. A source of 4, a score of 4. The lowest rating and were coded as red. Those areas deemed at risk of becoming black neighborhoods received a rating of 3 and were labeled hazardous because niggas are hazardous. As a matter of policy, the FHA loans went, okay, FHA. FHA loans went towards the purchase of homes in the top 2 neighborhoods rating categories: new and homogeneous, and expected to remain stable in effect. The federal loans were issued to white families to buy homes in the new suburban neighborhoods that were all white and in older white neighborhoods that they were expected to remain homogeneous. Private white neighborhoods. Oh, wait, I read that already. Private lenders took on the same redlining practices of the federal government, making it very difficult for black families to obtain loans for property in the neighborhoods to which they were being confined. The lack of loan capital flowing into minority areas made it impossible for owners to sell their homes, leading to steep declines in property values and a pattern of disrepair, deterioration. Hold on, I got some boogers in my eyeballs. A nigga got boogers in his eyeballs. Hold on. Uh, deterioration, vacancy, and abandonment. The racially restrictive covenants that served to keep black people from moving to white residential neighborhoods were officially endorsed by the FHA in the late 1940s and maintained until 1950. Even though the Supreme Court declared such covenants unconstitutional in 1948, the legacy of these policies and practices lives on in the present as past housing options enhance or impede the acclimation of home equity and eventually the intergenerational transmission of wealth. And though such policies are now illegal at the federal, state, and local levels, evidence suggests that they haven't been eliminated in practice. In 2006, the National Fair Housing Alliance (NFHA) released the result of a multi-year, multi-city investigation of real estate practices using paired teams of testers, white and African American, or white and Latinx, that were matched in terms of housing needs, financial qualifications, and employment history. 87% of the time, the testers were steered to neighborhoods on the bias of race and or national origin. In most cases, whites were shown homes in primarily white neighborhoods. African Americans were shown homes in predominantly African American neighborhoods, and Latinx buyers were shown homes in primarily Latinx neighborhoods. To extent there is progress towards black and white racial integration, it is most apparent in communities where the total black population is relatively small and of relatively high socioeconomic status. There is a military base, and there is a military base or university in the region. My family and I lived in a place like that for 20 years. Northampton, Massachusetts. While these characteristics took not describe the communities where the majority of black people live, it is worth noting that black families have been moving out of the inner cities in large numbers. Demographer William Ferry notes that by 2010, as a result of accelerated black flight, northern more blacks lived in the suburbs than in the cities of bigger metropolitan regions. Hey, dub for the niggas. Contemporary surveys of racial attitudes. Hold on, bro. I read this page and I just gotta hold on. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. Motherfucker. It's none of these songs. Hold on.
I know you got a lot of demons clogging up your past. I can do some cleaning up for you, but I know we won't last past the. Yeah. How I see it. How I see it.
No, it's not this one. Alright. Fuck this.
Listen.
Fuck this. Okay. I don't want to read anymore, bro. But I got to, bro. We gotta fix the attention span of the youth. I'm not unk. I'm youth. Fuck you. Contemporary surveys of racial attitudes among white indicate that the larger the hypothetical black population in an area, the more likely white respondents are to express discomfort about living in the same neighborhood. The behavioral result of such attitudes is that in those cities that still have larger urban black populations, places like New York, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland, Milwaukee, progress toward residential integration has been quite limited according to the 2010 census tract data. Roughly a third of all black metropolitan residents live in extremely segregated are what researchers call hyper-segregated neighborhoods. A similar pattern is visible among Latinx families in the last two largest. I added a word. Visible among Latinx families in the two largest Latinx communities, New York and Los Angeles, where nearly 20% are in hyper segregated neighborhoods. However, Latinx residential patterns do vary based on factors such as country of origin, residency, residency, recency of immigration, and skin color. New Latinx immigrations are likely to live in highly segregated communities, and those who are darker skinned, many Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, for example, also tend to live in segregated neighborhoods, often in or adjacent to African American neighborhoods. Those who are lighter skinned, many Cubans and South Americans, such as Argentinians, for example, may self identify racially as white and are more likely to live in areas with non Hispanic whites. Mm, non Hispanic whites. Discussing, why couldn't they just say with whites? Well, okay, yeah, I know why they couldn't say that. Shut the fuck up and suck my dick. Discussing the housing patterns of American Indians and Alaskan Natives is a difficult because of the group's relatively small population and the fact that many still live on rural American Indian reservations and in Alaskan Native villages. It is estimated that 30% of the 4.1 million American Indians and Alaska Natives, 1.5% of the total 1.5% of the total of the US population. Wow. They were here first and they only make up 1.5% of the population, gang. That's crazy. Of all groups of color, Asian Americans are the least segregated. Asian Americans, because stereotypically they think they white. They think they white. Are the least segregated from whites, though there is no variation in that pattern as well. Recent immigrants are more likely to be concerned, or no, concentrated, contracted, to be contracted in ethnic enclaves than those who have been in the U.S. for several generations. Not surprisingly for racial groups, whites are most isolated when they are most likely to live in racially homogeneous communities and the least likely to come into contact with people racially different from themselves. What difference does it make now for people of color living in a hyper segregated community? Increases one exposure to the disadvantages associated with concentrated poverty and reduces access to the benefits associated with affluent communities, regardless of your own. Oh, bro, I'm actually getting bored. Lock it, lock it, lock it, lock it, lock it, lock it. Just read a book, bro. It's not that hard. We haven't even read 10 pages. Hold on. Okay, it hasn't been like a full hour yet, so we good. Oh, nigga, this shit is just boring as fuck. Our focused analysis of the neighborhoods and trends in hyper-segregated areas further demonstrated the power of segregation not only to compromise the neighborhood circumstances of poor African Americans, but also to limit the ability of affluent black residents to improve their geographic position in urban society. Not only was this quality of neighborhoods inhabited by affluent blacks lower in absolute terms compared to their affluent counterparts across metropolitan areas generally, but also their neighborhood circumstances improved little relative to these experienced by the very protests of whites. These feelings confirm that social scientists have long known residential segregation continues to be the structural linchpin in American systems of racial stratification. Italics mine. In everyday terms, Daria, I forgot, nigga, we was talking about this Daria girl, explains that racial segregation limits access to helpful social networks needed for successful employment. Neighborhoods contact or connect each other or each other's children to employment opportunities and needed resources, keeping groups separated. Means that community helpfulness is not shared across racial lines because of racial segregation, residential segregation, economic disadvantages, and racial disadvantage are inextricably linked, acknowledging that now country's long persistence of residential segregation and its consequence. School segregation goes a long way towards explaining why the answer to the first question posed to me is God damn, this nigga said all these words, bruh, to answer the first question in the prologue, bruh. Nigga, you are doing too much, bro. Get to the fucking point, bro. Holy shit. Nigga doing all this fucking yapping, bro. Goes a long way towards explaining why the answer to the first question posed to me is still yes. The black kids are still sitting together. The social context in which students of color and white students enter academic environments together. In those few places where they do, is still a context in which their lived experience are likely to have been quite different from each other, and in which racial stereotyping is still likely to be an inhibited factor in the cross group interactions. That is facts. My non nigga friends, they love to stereotype me, bro. They love it. They fucking eat that shit up every fucking day of the week. Every day, these niggas. Oh my god, bro, chill. It's just a joke. Oh my god, bro, chill. It's just a joke. I don't know what it's like to be black, but chill, bro. It's just a joke. It's just a joke, bro. Oh my god, don't be a fucking snowflake, man. Why are you being such a snowflake? That happened so many years ago. All right. God damn. We're on to another section of the motherfucking book, man. Change you can believe in. It's posed as the question. It's posed as a motherfucking question. Do you believe in change? Okay. That said, isn't anything better in his. Yeah. Do I even want to attempt to say this word? Oh shit. Oh shit. Damn, bro, my headset's gonna die. I can't read no more. I gotta unplug the puff code to just plug in my headset, bro. Go in there, nigga. All right. Okay, what the fuck? What's this word, gang? Fuck this. Oh, it was this song. It was the first song I played. All right, we're gonna take a little break from reading. I'm not pausing the timer. The timer will still go.
You got
Got a lot of demons clogging up your past.
I can do some cleaning up for you, but I know
I don't
we
wait
won't
on
last
last
past
past
the
the
winter
sun time.
Cause summer's coming and a
Niggas trying to hit a head dime or two.
Come next fall, I'm finding you and
We could do it all again. My niggas call it legacy.
A fear that the best days
They
are
like had not ahead of me.
And cause of that, I'm searching for the one that
They got away from me.
So busy looking back that I can't see what God has made for me. And I be
Texting you. I gotta find the one who got away from me. Texting you. Hey, I'm trying to find the one who got away from. Rolling around. Oh
I
shit.
can't even decide what's for dinner. Pardon these selfish flows. I need to
yell for house.
I need to read reviews. Cause some of the evil that I seen you do is unbelievable. Menopause shit, inconceivable. Tennis ball shit. Causing that racket outside my mama's house. What's it all about? Guess it's a thin line between love and hate. The love we make is temporary, like this lovely place I'm living in. Wait,
that's contemporary. Never mind, I'm tripping it.
But then again, it's hard to settle in this modern era. We could be as tight as that dress you barely fitting in. But my fear of missing out has got me on a trip again. Riding to the A-Town,
told us no Greyhound. My lust is profound. There's no found.
Your heart don't glue back, quiet right.
My heart don't glue back like white flight that puts them people to the suburbs. Now they want their city back. It's a rent and a property tax. In a good years, I'll relate to that.
Knowing I let you go and regretting that
In effect,
cause I done spent so long playing games and holding back from giving all of me, too scared
that I will get it back.
And yes, I'm well aware
I want the word back with back. That's the direction that I'm tired of looking at.
And that's why I be
texting you. I'm trying to find the one who got away from me. Texting you. Hey, I'm trying to find the one who got away. Go at the top. Texting you.
And I be texting you. Call me when you wanna fly, yeah. Tell you all the reasons why, yeah. Youngest turning into old, yeah. Summer's turning into snow, yeah. Memories turn by, yeah. Floating in a lonely sky, yeah. When the weather's getting cold, yeah. You're the one I wanna hold, yeah.
Even back when last time there's much more to lose. That's all I'm sorry to lose. All right. Because if we want to talk about like in the book, they was talking about black and white people could be mixed together because like military bases or universities. We got a military base and a university. Put me away, a queen. Put me yeah. Our university though is the HBCU. Yep. What I rap to the death is where my steps were first taken. Same time, my mom felt the earth shaking under her. Her youngest son was a baby eye killer, raised amongst the dames and the crazy eye killers. The VILLE. Some of them sell cars, some of them sell weed, some of them sell stills, some of them sell steals, some of them sell steals, some of them sell studio time. You can go rhyme.
you dream bigger than most do. Well, listen close. The perfect
Most of
nigga
niggas
to
that
coach
coach
you
you.
is on the mic to ignite
Night,
the
the
flames
flyers first in
flight.
flight. I'm a white brother.
The
The
hardest
hardest nigga on the mic got a white mother.
She picked a hell of a spot from the
Bottom
bottom
for
where
their
her son
son
was
to finish
finna
dwell
dwell
at
at
the
the top.
top.
Yeah, I've been
Been around the world, but I never forgot the fucking Ville. The motherfucking Ville. The fuck Ville. The motherfucking Ville. Said the Ville. The motherfucking Ville. Said the Ville. The motherfucking Ville. FAYETTEVI 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 Ciphers, what's that about games? Skating rink, where all the neighborhoods came.
A lot of niggas carry razors
Remember me hanging with gangs. When I started rapping, I wasn't scared of them things.
I started
Killing them one by one. Crowd was getting bigger.
When I got done, they said youngin' is a problem, but yet and still, we in an unknown city where no record deals had ever filled somebody's pockets. That's when I clocked it. If they won't come to me, I go to them and make a profit. I took it up top. Now can you visualize the optics? The only southern nigga that New York ever adopted. Queens nigga with the honorary doctorate, but still the veil remains in my veins. I came to do what I claim I do to attain what was ordained, unattainable.
Thank you, bro.
For a nigga from the veil.
Thank you, bro.
The motherfucking veil. The veil.
I needed that.
The veil. The motherfucking veil.
Okay, so right now, what I got going on, I was trying to be on my Kais and that shit. I got my motherfucking timer right here, and I was reading this book and shit like that, but I was getting bored of reading. Because the last book I read was Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I don't do the reading thing too much, bro. But then I'm reading this book, and the whole time I'm thinking about The Fall Off by J. Cole, because niggas talking about racial issues, how we're always looking back. Book in Wrestling translate like, alright, hold the fuck up. Are you being a racist, bruh? Oh, I don't want to translate this now, bruh. What the fuck are you talking about? Maybe I didn't need that, bruh. Book in Russia translate like nigga. Niga. Book in Russian.
Книга. Книга.
I'll let you ride. Bro, what are you? You're like my third Russian. Stream wise, you're my second Russian. Vulgar Russian exclamation used to express stream, surprise, shock, disbelief, or intense impression, similar to holy shit, fuck me, or wow. But how do you say that one? Nia Sabibi? Sabe? Nia Sabet? Now I gotta do some translations, bro. What time is it in Russia? Privet? That's a fucking flower. That's literally a flower. It's like, wow, oh my god. Yeah, no, I think Nia Sabit. Nia. Am I saying it right? Nia Sabit? How the fuck? Nia Sabit? I don't know how to say it. Bro, I barely know my fucking own language, bro. If you were here, I've been streaming for an hour. I've been recording. Oh no. That's going to take up space on my PC. I was not supposed to be recording, fam. I was not supposed to be recording. But as I was saying, I barely know my own language, bro. I'm reading this book, and I'm like, what the fuck are these words? And I've been speaking English my whole life. Oh, chat. What page was I at? Cause now I gotta restart, bro. I gotta restart. Cause I said I was gonna take a quick break. Ooh, can you listen to my favorite artist from Russia? No, I still have to read for another hour. I just he died in 2020. Actually, sure, fuck it, I'll do it. One song, and we'll get back into the book. Because I've been listening to a lot of Russian. Okay, I don't know why I'm saying I've listened to a lot. I've listened to one Russian artist. Oh, fuck! I forgot. Hey, bro, I'm gonna unban you. I'm gonna unban you. Hold on. Don't leave. Fuck. I gotta put that in the chat rules. That happens so much, bruh. I'm so sorry. Muchos apologios. That's not even Spanish. That was kind of ignorant. But look, I just forgot how to do it. Hold on. I'm going. We gonna get you unbanned because we don't have any mods in here to undo it. I'm going. You're about to get unbanned. Hold on. Stream manager. Where's the timeouts? Untimeout. Okay, just type the name. Don't send the link. Type the name. Don't send the link. You got it? I apologize. I forgot about that. All right, well, let's load this up into YouTube. Actually, I gotta screen it first, cause niggas be trolling on this shit. What? Balin Levine was with Fetty Wap? What the hell? 10 years ago? Wait, is it this one? Top one? Okay, I gotta go back to screening it. I don't want to get banned. How old are you, if you don't mind my asking? Cause I got a clip I could show you. Young Trapper. Bro, what's the drug? Hold on, what is the drug game in Russia like though? Cause that shit's mad illegal. Like, y'all arguably took our best potentially transgender WNBA player for having one of fucking these. How are niggas trapping in Russia, bruh? Please let me know the breakdown. I need to know how this shit goes down. Let's see. Oh, they got guns too. Shorty and Bell were like Uzi.
Я слышал, у барыги есть на хате целых полкило.
Ну так чего мы ждем, давай поедем и въебем его.
Целых полкило.
Да, целых полкило.
Ну так чего мы ждем, давай поедем и въебем его.
Давай кинем барыгу, давай кинем барыгу, давай кинем барыгу.
Давай кинем Малия.
Давай кинем
Малия.
давай кинем
Малия.
давай кинем
Малия.
давай кинем
Малия.
Трэпа позвонил и мне сказал, стил, я хочу на море. Но на кармане ни рубля, все деньги в обороте. А на районе есть барыга и без крыши вроде. Ему сегодня подвезут полкильчика на блоке.
This is the right song. This is not 2014. Nigga, that shit's like 4 months ago.
Давай кинем барыгу, я не борец.
Oh, I gotta read the words.
Давай кинем барыгу, полкило это вес. Давай кинем барыгу и потом все
And then we book a flight.
Алло, сил, у меня есть один сладенький кусок. Мы забили с ним на 8, он на хате меня ждет. Я хочу его Porsche Cayenne и часы хублок. Я хочу, чтобы он лежал на полу лицом.
Не вопрос, мы берем стволы и мы едем на район. Я очень надеюсь, что дерьмо будет с собой при нем.
I did not mean to do that. But what are there really hoods in Russia? Cause aren't y'all like communist or something. Oh, this is gonna sound, that probably sounded really American, but the Soviet Union. Hold on, y'all are socialists. Y'all are a socialist country, right? A massive Marxist Leninist state for Marxist, like Karl Marx, like the nigga I learned about in my intro to sociology class, Karl Marx, collapsed. The Union dissolved. Oh, the Soviet Union don't even exist anymore. Duh, Anthony. That's probably like what one of the world wars were about. Duh. Yo, I know that. Oh, I know that now. Yeah, yeah. Hey. What the fuck? Okay, what is Russia's government like now? I can't type. Are they socialists or what? Authoritarian state functioning practices as personalized autocracy. Federal. God damn, this nigga been in power longer than LeBron has been in the NBA. Why do you keep sending links? I said don't send links, bro. Why do you keep doing that? Now I gotta unban you again. Quit sending links, bro. Untime out. Come on, bro. I need you to lock in. Don't say you're stupid. Just be like, oh damn, I forgot about that. Cause words have power, right? And if you say you're stupid, you'll actually become stupid. Trust me. I'm speaking from experience. As a little kid, I used to always be like, oh, I'm stupid, blah, 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 blah. But I wasn't actually stupid. I was playing a character so I could avoid my real life emotions. You know what I'm saying? But now that I'm an adult, I'm actually dumb as fuck and I can't even read this book. It's bad. It's very, very bad. Kanaiga. Kanaiga. Tango una. Kanaiga. That was Spanish and Russian. I am now bilingual. I possess all the power. All right. No bullshit. I gotta get back to it. We got 55 minutes on the timer left. How many pages do you think I'm gonna knock out? Are y'all ready? Okay. So I'm gonna do the book club. I'm gonna do the book club actually. Now I got someone to talk to for a little bit. I wanted to share the link to his most popular song. Okay, just type in the name. Doggy style. Got you. Got you. Got you. I'm assuming this one is definitely about sex. Definitely about sex. Low key, I don't want to look at the lyrics only because, bro, they don't rhyme, so the lyrics don't sound cool to me. They kind of sound like corny, not in a bad way, just corny in the fact, like, I don't know, because trapping in Russia, I don't know, bro. That shit don't sound real to me. Cause like, I don't know how the Russian government works though. Like, cause I know niggas used to like pay for like houses and all that shit based on your family size. But I'm assuming they don't do that anymore because socialism was proven faulty by the CIA or whatever the fuck. But I don't know. Let's get into the song. This one's loud. This is right though.
You know it's съест мой мозг и заставит меня больше не любить. Ни одну другую. Я на нервах, ну давай поговори. Я ставлю доги стайлы, доги стайлы, доги стайлы, я ставлю доги стайлы, доги стайлы, доги стайлы.
Doggy style, yeah. Doggy style, doggy style, yeah.
Я бегу на этих как на зеленый свет. Я курю marijuana, я один сам по себе. И в не нуждаюсь, она меня приручает. Она меня приручает. Но я не приручаюсь, обращаюсь.
Not born no childs. Did he just say he's not borning no childs? That's what he's not borning no child.
Приручает, она меня приручает. Но я не приручаюсь, обращаюсь с той сукой, как с дочуркой. У нее есть чувство вкуса, она лайк на тусе. Мы имели целый мир, и мы улетим отсюда, улетим куда хотим и улетим, когда мы ходим. Это молодой войти, суки, у меня ключи. Хочешь логики войти, отключи свои мозги. Мои деньги, мои деньги, мои деньги. MLB, ты видишь мой полиэтилен и твой звездный час внутри, но я лишь парень из квартала, что с тобой не играет. А она со мной, она меня выбирает, смотри. Young Trizy Crazy, молодой трезини. Пил текилу с той сукой в лимузине. И она
съест мой мозг и заставит меня больше не любить.
So, this is the guy who brought trap music to Russia. Okay. Respectable. Who were his musical influences? Like, who influenced him? Do you know? Do you know the history of what transcribed Young Trapper to be Young Trapper? LSP? Fuck, who the hell was that? Who the fuck is LSP? Edwin, you know LSP, bruh? Bro, this was supposed to be a book club stream, and now, well, I'm reacting to Russian music. Okay. LSP refers to several distinct items depending on the manufacturer. Oh wait, that's capitalism stuff. Who's the group? Young Trapper. And then the Russian characters. But Edwin, how you doing, bro? How's the family? Lumpy Space Princess. Oh, this nigga. Yeah, that nigga cooked with that one. Young Trapper. Look at these guys. Look at these guys. If it will fucking load. Is that Timothy Chalamet? They're all criminals! Alright. I want to North Carolina! North Carolina and Alaska are drastically different. What the fuck, nigga? Alaska? For Amazon? What? Hold on. How the fuck did that happen? What the fuck? Bruh, I think I missed a couple of episodes, gang. What the hell? Wait, okay. Russian guy? What do I call you? What is this? Says Sakahad? The Union. What the fuck is what the fuck is the Union? Scuff. Last minute decision made big, dog. The union, like when I hear the union, I'm thinking of like military affairs or some shit like that. It's not a union is the act of okay, nigga. What is a union? U.S. Department of Labor, DOL. Though the cult, at least it's not Scientology. A labor union group of two or more employees who join together to advocate common interests such as wages, benefits, schedules. What the heck? I'm in the union. I'm in the like when I did my job shit, they were like, "Do you want to join the union?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll join the union." I joined the Laborers Union of Alaska. And then what do you do for them? You just work in Alaska? Workers seeking to form a union at their workplace should talk to their coworkers to build support around issues they are facing. Often workers do this through forming and organizing committee. Workers can contact an established union for support and guidance, or they may seek to organize their own independent union. I bought a staff. What the fuck is a staff? Like a stick? Or you bought people to be a part of your work staff? Like, bro, I don't know if you were on skating YouTube back in the day, but you know Aaron Cairo from Braille Skateboarding? The fuck you mean you just bought some crack? Why is that shit in Russia? That shit's supposed to be in black neighborhoods in the 80s. Why are you buying crack? Nigga think he playing Schedule 1. But a staff in Russian is slang for crack. Boshki. Is boshki, that's like weed or whatever. But fuck Aaron Cairo. He ruined the skateboarding channel because he gave all his money to Scientology. That's what I gotta say about that. But Scuff, bruh, I got something for you. I need you to rate this song 1 out of 10. This is my friend, by the way. This is my friend.
Back of the whip, block on the hip, bust with a stick, moving these bricks, I cannot quit. Got the trap jumping, all these niggas trying to get a buzzing. I got hoes by the dozen, and they call me Mick Lovin', cause I'm super bad, nigga, I ain't bluffing.
Fuck, nigga.
Get the pack, get the sack, yeah, I do it like that. Move hella fast, like I'm running on a track, and I do it at the back. You can't get like that. Every night in the fucking stew, cooking up heat like I'm fucking Groot. Yellow off white when I'm coming through. Got your bitch in that mood. Told her what's up, baby, I'm that dude. What you trying to do? I be moving smooth when I'm riding in a cool. Pull up, got a bitch in a two-seater.
Are we fucking with this shit? Are we fucking with this?
I'm a little eater. Come and get ice spice. I'm a fucking
Listen.
for brunch. But that bitch broke her back. Now she need a crutch. Clutching on a stick when I move in the Ville. All my niggas keep it real. Yeah, we get the money till all my bills they blue. Shout out Benji. I don't hate, I don't envy. I ain't with the greed. I ain't growing up Palestinians, but I'm still chasing millions.
Okay, y'all heard what that guy that I don't know, he just said, wait, what'd he say?
I like ladies from my block. She's bitches.
I like ladies from my block. She's bitches. How many bitches you got? Bro? Okay, he said, I ain't with the greed. I ain't blowing up Palestinians, but I'm still chasing millions. That probably just went over your head, bro. Went over your fucking head, bro. This guy, whoever this guy is, I think he should go platinum, bro.
Hell yeah.
My text to speech. Okay. All right. All right. I have 50 minutes on the timer for my fucking book club, and now I got 43 minutes. I gotta lock in, bro. If I want to increase my brain and my
Do Antônio
stamina,
Readthrough Wittner.
hold on. Send that TTS again. Hold on. Send that TTS again because that was a lot of characters for that short ass pronunciation. What the fuck? Oh my god, I gave my girlfriend gave me this book and I kind of just fucked up the page. Oh no, my girlfriend gonna whoop my ass, bro. All right. Let's do this. Change you can believe in. That said, there's new people here. I'm gonna read the last paragraph before we get into the new section. All right. Acknowledging the now centuries long persistence of residential segregation and its consequences, school segregation goes a long way toward explaining why the answer to the first question posed to me is still yes. The black kids are still sitting together. The social context in which students of color and white students enter academic environments together, in those few places where they do,
Blanche.
it is still a
Safi, Bushki,
context.
Pirvak, Pircacete, Banchit, Dud, Stavlatsi, Dur.
W words. W words. All right. So I can't get distracted, bro. Attention span. I got locking down this book. In those few places where they do, it is still a context in which their lived experiences are likely to have been quite different from each other, and
Don't
in which,
translate.
yeah, no, I wasn't planning on doing it, bro. I gotta read this book. All right, fuck this. Fuck reading the last paragraph. But change you can believe in. Yes. That said, isn't anything better in this commencement address at Howard University on May 7th, 2016. President Barack Obama offered an answer to that question, speaking to a largely black audience. He highlighted the ways the world has improved since its own college graduation in 1983, including the era of race relations. Here's an excerpt of that speech in my inaugural
Ian,
address.
read this. GTA. 6-7. Post banit toneat flikaya tot knig don't let anything distract you from the book.
Bro translated it for me. Okay. Barack Obama, shout out that nigga, bro. I remarked that just 60 years earlier, my father might have been served in a DC restaurant. Oh, might not have been served because he's black. They didn't want black people to eat. All right. At least, not certain of them. There were no black CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. Very few black judges were no longer only entertainers, we're producers, studio executives, no longer small business owners. We're, of course, President Barack Obama was corrected that there has been positive, meaningful social change in our lifetimes. Certainly in the years since I was born in 1940, 1954. But if we were focused on specifically on the 20-year period from 1997 to 2017, we must acknowledge some setbacks beyond just the stubborn persistence of neighborhood and
Focus on
school
the book, focus on
segregation.
the book,
There
focus on the book,
are
focus on the
three
book,
I want
focus
to
on the book,
highlight
focus on the book,
here.
focus
The
on the book, focus on the
anti-affirmative
book,
action
focus on the book,
backlash
focus
of
on
the
the book,
20th
focus on the
and
book.
earliest 21st centuries, the economic collapse of 2008, known as the Great Recession, and the phenomenon known as mass incarceration. Okay.
Focus on the book 67, focus on the book 67, focus on the
Okay.
book 67, focus
The
on the
first of
book
these setbacks
67,
and
focus on the
anti-affirmative
book
action
67.
backlash of the 20th and early 21st century has had significant impact on the Black,
Focus on the book,
Latinx,
focus on the
and
book, focus on the book, focus on the book, focus on
all
the
right,
book, focus
TTS.
on the book, focus
We
on the
we
book,
we turn
focus
it
on
to
the book, focus
mods,
on the book,
mods,
focus on the book, focus
mods.
on
Turn
the
off
book, focus on the
TTS.
book, focus on the book.
Turn off TTS mods. That's a good question. How do I even turn that shit off? Oh, I just closed out of it entirely.
E.
Mods, turn off TTS, bruh. Should I start? Yeah, okay. I'm gonna read this book as a rap. Okay, I'm gonna read this book as a rap. Okay. American Indians access to the best resource public colleges and universities. A case of higher education in California is telling an example. In 1996, California voters approved the intuition known as the Proposition 209 that prohibited preferential treatment based on race, sex, color, and ethnicity or native origin in employment, education, and contracting programs, effectively ending all state-run affirmative action programs. The California legislation inspired other states to place a ban on affirmative action in the state-run program. All right. If this doesn't stop, I'm going to take all my clothes off. All right, this nigga is 10 years old. Bro, where are my rewards? Where the fuck is it? I gotta full screen this, bro. Yo, where is my viewer rewards?
Hello.
Rewards. Channel points. All right, try TTS now. Nigga. In the case of California, the Proposition 209 intensive, which took the effect in 1988, had a devastating effect on the enrollment of Black and Latinx students. As the two leading public universities in California, UCLA and UC Berkeley, African American undergraduates enrollment dropped at UCLA by more than 37%, from 5.6% of the freshman class to 3.5% almost 2 decades later. The proportion of African American freshman students enrolling at UCLA. I don't even have water. Wait. That's water. UCLA remains be the low pre-proposition 209 levels at UC Berkeley. African Americans undergraduate enrollment. Actually, we're not going to Africa water fake. You are fucking stupid. Bro, Mr. Beast just built all those wells in Africa. What you mean they don't have water? Bro, just let me read about my black people. Now, I was just trying to say that though. African Americans, bro, that's not even like a real thing for real, for real. At the end of the day, we're just Americans. Because we don't know where we come from in Africa. Like, we could be Nigerian, we could be Kenyan, we could be Niger, we could be Niger, we can be Egyptian, we can be, all right, African country, come to me. I said Kenya, Nigeria. Osama, I don't know. Russian waters. What the fuck are Russian waters? Dropped 4% between 1998 and 2014. Far, far below the pre-prohibition 209 level, which was approximately 6.5%. Similarly, Latinx undergraduates enrollment also falls sharply in the wake of proposition. Oh, watchers. I would have guessed that if my brain isn't overwhelmed by fucking words. My brain is overwhelmed because English, I don't know. Compared to Spanish, English is hard as fuck. Like with words and shit. Like, bruh, he could have simplified this down so much, but he wants to use all these fucking words that like people who aren't like higher educated in English, they're not gonna want to read this shit, bruh. But me, I'm different. I'm an educated black man. I got this. I can read English books too. I can read English books. That's what I'm doing right now. Enrollment dropped from 16.9% of the freshman class to 18.2%. A staggering 52% decline in the years between 1955 and 1998. Enrollment of American Indian students also plummeted as of 2014. American Indian undergraduate enrollment at UCLA and UC Berkeley is still 45% lower than it was when Proposition 209 went into effect. I cannot read Russian books. There, you got me beat, my friend. A similar impact was seen in Michigan, following the passage of its own version of the Proposition 209, known as the Proposal 2. The Michigan Civil Rights Initiative, MCRI, that's the acronym for Michigan Civil Rights Innovative, MCRI. They held that one for sexuality, sex, or gender. What the fuck does that mean? What the fuck did you just put in my chat? Y'all really be saying anything out this motherfucker. Like, I'm just trying to get educated and y'all saying like sex shit in Russian. Twitch lie you? Twitch don't lie me. Twitch truth me, bruh. I'm gonna look this up right now. I'm not gonna say it out loud because I don't know what it is. Higher, vulgar, and offensive Russian slur. Ah, it means like. See now, now I gotta play another J. Cole song. Now I gotta play another J. Cole song. I'll skip.
An uptick in motorcades, but not for the president. These processions are for the negligent, so I don't care to hang out. These younger niggas even quicker than I was to bang out.
Oh wait, I got a daughter now. Here's a picture. She's starting to look like more father now.
When she cries, her mama put on your songs to calm her down. It's wild how just the sound
the other thighs come out a smile.
Dog, I'm proud. You
made it out of bitch. Hold on.
Until its size was that of a figurine, it seemed just like a mystery. Some say it was acquired immune deficiency syndrome. We been on with Teamy.
Bro, why do 12-year-olds watch me? Why do 12? Bro, hey, I appreciate you. But why are you 12, bro? You need to grow up. He's 12 and he smokes crack, guys. This is the problem with Gen Alpha. They're 12 years old and they smoke fucking crack. And then they get on Twitch streams and try to trap people. They try to trap people. Nigga just said some slurs in my chat, bruh. I am cool. You're alright. You're alright. Trapaholic. Yes. Oh, this nigga. Drugs are bad. Trapping is bad. Get an education. Get an education. Get off the internet. You should not be a trapaholic at the age of 12. That's a no bueno.
knowledge.
You need to listen to J. Cole. You do not live in the trap, bruh. You live in Russia, bruh. You don't live in no trap. You do not live in the trap. Bruh. Putin will kick down your door. You ain't living in no damn trap, bruh.
We was kids, he lived in a closet, but that changed soon as he went to college. Up there wild in the A&T, running with fruity types, thinking the booty types, tight pants, switching their hips, painting their nails. So niggas from the Ville had to distance ourselves. He felt the way. Remember he was
beefing with me.
That's when he
to get to the AI, I guess, so he could be free.
Years later, I heard they seen him walking
around drag.
2 a.m. with a lace front, dressing in drag. I shook my head, but still I began to feel bad. It's like his lifestyle was blocking all the love that we had. We turned our backs on him. Some of us caught him
time changed. I know that's wrong. Alright. See, he almost said the F word slur, but he didn't because he knows it's wrong. You feel me? Alright. So back to the book. Really for real, dead ass. Back to the book. So remember we were talking about the civil rights initiative in Michigan that became a law in 2006. As in California, the proposal banned all affirmative action progress. Bye-bye. Later, you fucking 12-year-old Russian trapaholic. Later, gangy. Listen to some J. Cole while you sleep, man. Listen to some J. Cole while you sleep. We're on page 10. Nigga just said he was 12. Nigga just said he was 12. Yeah, the proposal banned all affirmative action programs that gave preferential treatment to the people of color in state contracting, employment, and higher education proposal. Or before Proposal 2 took effect, underrepresented students of color made up 13% of the University of Michigan's total enrollment by 2014. The overall percentage had dropped to 11.5% of total enrollment. The figures are even worse for African Americans, with undergraduate enrollment dropping more than a third from 7% in 2006 to approximately 4.5% in 2014. It's been a few hours. I set a timer for 2 hours and we have 25 minutes left. And I took a break, and then the Russian boy gave me some distractions. And how is it when you join, 3 more people join, as I got 25 minutes left in my book stream, because I had to take the fucking Kai Snap route and set a timer, and you're gonna be like, oh, it's only been a couple hours, you're on page 10. Actually, wait. Yeah. Now I'm on page 11. Put some respect on my fucking name. Put some respect on my name, and then I won't reveal. Now, I'm not going to say it. We got a book to read. And, people going to hate on me. People going to try to distract me from the goal. But you can never distract me from the goal. Okay, where was I at, though? Undergraduate enrollment dropping more than a third from the 7% in 2006 to approximately 4.5%. Ironically, this decrease occurred even as the total percentage of college-age blacks in Michigan increased from 16 to 19%. The California and Michigan flagship institutions have found that without taking race into consideration, it is very difficult to achieve representative levels of diversity across the higher education landscape despite the demographic changes of the 21st century. Recognition of that difficulty seemed to play a role in the most recent Supreme Court decision regarding affirmative action programs in higher education on June 23rd, 2016. Hello, pants, shitty ass outfit. Oh, what do you mean? It's professional. Give me the job, please. Give me the job, please. Oh my God, thank you. It was so nice talking to you. I'm professional, bro. I am professional. I mean, you're pretty familiar with the party down below. So don't talk any shit. Okay? Don't talk any shit and let me read. Just let me read. Yeah, go back to work. Work for the white man like you're supposed to. Go work for the white man. Toodaloo, motherfucker. Toodaloo. All right. Now I could go back to reading like a jackass. I don't got to be performative for the huzz anymore. Okay? The court ruled on the case of Fisher versus University of Texas at Austin. Not AT&T. I wanted to go to AT&T at one point. What? They had to go to court? Oh my goodness. Oh, it's UT. Which one's AT&T? What the fuck? Or A&T? The Aggies? You know, the fucking Aggies? This is the Longhorns. I'm done. Fuck Texas. Th- Fuck them. Which challenged UT's Austin's use of race as one factor among many in his holistic review of applicants. To the surprise of many court watchers, the Supreme Court ruled on the side of the university, writing the majority opinion for the court. Justice Anthony Kennedy. Wait, why do we got the same first name? Anthony Kennedy praised Texas for having offered a reasoned, principled explanation of its policy, but also warned that the court's decision does not necessarily mean the university may rely on the same policy without refinement in the future, reminding us of the still unsteady ground on which current affirmative action programs stand. The second setback, the economic collapse of 2008, shook the ground for Americans of all racial and ethnic backgrounds, but it had disproportionately disastrous effect for many Black and Latinx families in the sobering 2009 Huffington Post essay titled "The Destruction of the Black Middle Class." I'm black middle class because my daddy was in Iraq shooting kids, so I'm privileged. Okay? The destruction of black middle class. Barbara, I'm not saying her last name, and Dedrick Muhammad. After decades of being denied mortgages on racial grounds, African Americans made a tempting market for bubble crazed lenders like Countrywide. The result that high income blacks were almost twice as likely as low income whites to receive interest in subprime loans, according to the Center for Responsible Lending. Latinos will end up losing between $75 billion and $90 billion in the home value wealth from subprime loans. Blacks will lose between 71 billion and 92 billion, united for a fair economy, and that's called his this family net worth catastrophe. Oh, I actually can't read. Catastrophe, nigga. The great loss of wealth for people of color in modern U.S. history. Not only did many families of color lose their homes in the Great Recession, they also lost their jobs. Disparate, disparate, disparate unemployment rates continue despite the national economic recovery at this writing in the third quarter of 2016. The white unemployment rate is 4.4. Hold on, she got me fucked up. It's been a couple hours. You're only on page 10. It hasn't even been a couple hours yet. I started stream at 3 o'clock. It's 4:54. bitch. And then I'd even start really reading into like 15 minutes into the stream, bruh. Why was she on my dick like that? Now she got me self-conscious, bruh. I don't know if I can continue reading this. And this is the problem. This is why kids don't read. Because when they do try to read, somebody gonna shit on them for their reading skills. And then, boom. Psychologically, that fucks some niggas up. And then they read Diary of a Wimpy Kid and then never read a book again. That's exactly what happens. Or like, have you ever had the librarian look at you and be like, nah, you can't just get this book because it's not on your reading level. Even though you really wanted to get that fucking book, and your mom took you to a whole separate facility to get you tested to see where you're at, right? And then that lady tells you that you're above your grade reading level, and you're like, okay, cool. I actually can't read. My teachers are fucking stupid, right? And then boom, you go to the library the following week and you see this book, you read the back of it, and you're like, oh my god, I really want to read this fucking book. This book seems cool as fuck. And then you take it to the lady, you try to check it out, and she tells you, no, you cannot read this book. It's not on your reading level. And then when you tell her, I was like, well, my mom actually took me to the center, blah, 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 blah. And then they told me I'm at a third grade reading level. So it's fine. Just let me ride. And then she said, no, put it back and pick something else. And so I picked some bullshit ass fucking book, nigga. And now I don't know how to read. So really, it's that woman's fault. I don't know how to read. She ruined reading for me, bro. Ruined it. And that's how the white people get you, bro. That's how they get you, bro. It's a sad world we fucking live in, bro. Let me drink the pain away. Shit. How long until the next section of this book? Okay, we're gonna read into the next session, and we're ending here. So to all the VOD watchers, let me know how often y'all want to see book club streams. Well, it says I got 2 viewers in here right now, right? So if I actually do, I need y'all to come through and just tell me how often I should do book club streams. And as soon as I say that, we drop. It's cool though. It's cool. I don't. Not only did mainly families of color lose their homes in the Great Recession, they also lost their jobs. This disparate unemployment rates continue despite the national economic recovery at this writing in the third quarter of 2016. The white unemployment rate is 4.4%, but for African Americans, it is 8.5%, 4% for Asians, and 5.8% for Latinx. Is it Latinx or Latinx? The racial wealth gap between whites and people of color is the highest it's been in 25 years. 2014 estimates by the Pew Research Center put the gap in net worth between African Americans and whites at 1,300%. And between whites and Hispanics at 1,000%. The economic disparities translate into educational disparities as well. College access is much more difficult when families have had little opportunity to accumulate savings and have no real estate assets against which to borrow. According to data from the National Post-Secondary Student Aid Study, the percentage of Black students whose families had nothing to contribute to their college education in financial aid terms, expected family contribution of zero went from 1.6% in 2008 to 60% in 2012. For the Black elites that President Obama mentioned in his Howard University speech, the last 20 years may have been represented an improvement in their economic circumstances, but for the vast majority of Black and Latinx families, it has been a downward slide It is worth noting that some white families have been sliding to the number of white families with an expected family contribution of zero went from 18.7% in 2008 to 29% in 2012. The poverty rate among working class whites rose 3 percentages points from 8% in 2000 to 2011. Oh, wait, no, to 11% in 2011. Still less than half of the poverty rate of working class communities of color, 23%, and white fucking 2011. Nevertheless, the gap between white and black poverty is closing due to the declining fortunes of whites in that sector of the economy. The fact is fueling both economic anxiety and anger among whites, as evidenced among some of the white voters supporting Donald Trump's candidacy in 2016 presidential election, the third setback of the late 20th century and nearly 2 decades of the 21st century. Now we must acknowledge is the impact of mass incarceration. Historian Carol Anderson puts the phenomenon of mass incarceration in a particular context in her well documented book White Rage, when she makes the case that since the end of the slavery in 1865, the prevailing white reactions to black social and political gains has been an effort to push back those advances and regain social control. For example, the following end of Civil War, and there was a period of reformation in the South that included the establishment of the Freedoms Bureau to help those newly released from bondage. Blacks were given the right to vote, and some were elected to Southern state governments. Many social reforms, including the establishment of public schools, were instituted during the period. However, there were also massive white resistance from the former Confederates, which became violent with the rise of the KKK as the Northern law enforcers eventually withdrew from the South, marking the end of Reconstruction. White supremacists reasserted control and took back the South through the institution of Jim Crow laws and the disenfranchisement disenfranchisement of black voters. Slavery was replaced with the system of exploitation known as sharecropping and the use of lynching as a means of social intimidation designed to enforce racial subordination. More than 4,000 racial terror lynchings took place across 12 southern states between 1877 and 1950, when during the Great Migration 1950 through 1970, more than 6 million African Americans escaped the Jim Crow South, thereby threatening the Southern economy, so dependent on their cheap labor. White Southerners used both legal and illegal means to try to stop their exodus. Similarly, the Supreme Court landmark 1954 Brown versus Board of Education was met with strenuous white opposition in cities across both the South and North until federal intervention in the 1970s brought change, most of which has now been undone by subsequent Supreme Court decisions. Likewise, the advances of the Civil Rights era, accumulating the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Acts of 1965, evoked white resistance, particularly in the South, and triggered what has been called Southern strategy, an effort by national politics like Richard Nixon to court white voters in both the South and the North, unhappy about blacks, gain not by making specific reference to race, but rather by promising things like law and order, welfare reform, and school choice, alluding to race by association without actually using racial luggage to trigger Pavlovian Pavlovian anti-black response, sometimes called dog whistle politics. This use of coded language and image taps into the reinforce it that image taps into and reinforces stereotypes in the 1980s. Still nothing. Nobody's here. Motherfucking cunt. Why don't niggas want to get educated, bro? This is so not boring. Luggage and image traps into and reinforces stereotypes in the 1980s during the Ronald Reagan tenure. President, the war on drugs became the coded language, and young black and Latinx men became the targets of aggressive stop and stretch policing and harsh mandatory sentences, even for the first time offenders. These policies and the criminal justice practices that followed from them escalated under President George H.W. Bush and Bill Clinton. Michelle Alexander, authority of the new Jim Crow, describes the result in powerful terms. She writes, more African American adults are under correctional control today in prison and or in jail on probation or parole than than were wait holy fuck. More African Americans adults are under correctional control today in prison or in jail on probation or parole than were enslaved in 1850. A decade before the Civil War began, the clock has been turned back on racial progress in America through those scarcely anyone seems to notice. All eyes are fixed on people like Barack Obama and Oprah Winfrey, who have defined the odds and risen to power, fame, and fortune. For those left behind, especially those within the prison walls, the celebration of racial triumph in America must seem a tad premature. More black men are in prison today than at any other moment in our nation's history. More disenfranchised today than in 1870, the year the 15th Amendment was ratified, prohibiting laws that explicitly denied the right to vote on bias of race. Young black men today may be just as likely to suffer discrimination in employment, housing, and public benefits and jury service as a black man in the Jim Crow era. Discrimination that is perfectly legal because it is based on one's criminal record. This is the new normal, new racial equilibrium. And while Alexander highlights the plight of black men, similarly distributing statistics exist for black women. Through many more men, though many more men are in prison than women, the growth rate for female imprisonment between 1880 and 2014 exceeds that for male imprisonment by more than 50%. According to the Bureau of Justice Statistics, black women represent 23% of the 1.2 million women under the supervision of the criminal justice systems, though only 13% of the provision of the criminal justice system. It like says the same thing twice and it throws me off. I don't know why it does that. Though only 13% of the female population overall in 2014, the imprisonment rate for African American women, 109 per 100,000, was more than twice the rate of imprisonment for white women, 53 per 100,000. While Hispanics women were incarcerated at least 1.2 times the rate of white women, 64 per 100,000. The dramatic increase in incarceration is not due to a rising crime rate. Rather, it can be tracked back directly to changes in drug sectioning laws and politics. Since the official beginning of the war on drugs during the Reagan administration of the 1980s, The number of Americans incarcerated for drug offenses has skyrocketed from 41,000 in 1980 to nearly half a million in 2014. Furthermore, those sentencing laws, such as mandatory minimums, keep many people convicted of drug offenses in prison for longer periods of time. In 1986, people released after serving their time for federal drug offense had spent a little less than 2 years, an average of 22 months in prison. By 2004, the average length of a sentence had almost tripled, so that people convicted of federal drug offenses were expected to serve 62 months more than 5 years in prison. At the federal level, people incarcerated on a drug conviction make up half the prison population. At the state level, the number of people in prison for drug offenses has increased tenfold since 1980. Most of these people have no record of violent offenses and are not major players in the drug trade. The negative social, emotional, and economic impact on families torn asunder by mass incarceration as under as under. Why the fuck did I say something as under by mass incarceration cannot be underestimated? The number of parents of minor children held in the nation's prisons increased by 79% between 1991 and mid year 2007. Black Latinx children are especially impacted since 90% of those admitted to prison for drug offenses in many states are black or Latinx, despite the fact that the majority of illegal drug users and dealers in the United States are white. Alexander highlights the impact of this racial disparity in drug enforcement on black families. She writes, a black child born in today is less likely to be raised by both parents than a black child born during slavery. The absence of black fathers across America is not simply a function of laziness, immaturity, or too much time watching SportsCenter. Thousands of black men have disappeared into prisons and jails, locked away for drug crimes that are largely ignored when committed by whites. These statistics are depressing, and perhaps you are saying to yourself, as I say to myself, surely something has changed for the better in the last 20 years. Indeed, if there is one thing that might suggest there has been a positive change in race relations in the 21st century, it might be the election of Barack Obama in 2008. And that is the end of the section change you can believe in. The next section is the election of President Barack Obama. We'll go into that, but we're going to count how many pages it is then. And I have 40 seconds left on the timer. I'm not going to pull a Kai Cenat and be like, look how much time I'm reading overtime. The guy ended time 40 seconds earlier. I want to smoke dope. What the fuck? I want to go smoke dope. I'm sorry. Am I a statistic like this book is talking about? No, because I'm not in jail. Anyway, how many pages is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it's like 6.5 pages. So we read 3 sections today. So we'll read 3 sections whenever I do a book club again. I don't know when that will be. But if you have made it this far, I want you to know, don't give up on anything. Oh wait, proper outros. Let me sit down. Where's my hold on. Cuz I got to give y'all some motivation before I get out of here. All right, it's not going to work out. So yeah, my motivation for today is don't give up. Always be you. Keep pushing. Be a good human. Just be good. Don't be bad. And you'll succeed. Thank you for watching the video. And Paleo out. Kill me. Kill me.